Brand new Hanabiya. Yes, I am here for this one. I am actually really excited about this new song. It's called Spicy Queen, and you know, it came out a couple of hours ago, and usually this will be the sort of one where I have the video out within 15 minutes, but I just came home because I was doing stuff at a gig tonight up in Sugamo. And anyway, look, I am just really excited to be back to check this out. I'm going to turn off the air conditioning because it's making noise. We're going to pour a little bit of coffee. I'm glad I had some left over from this morning. That's how cheap I am. And I am excited to check out this new Hanabiya song. So yeah, obviously I knew this was coming from a little way out. We saw the premiere announced and just everything about it. Again, it's got a title just like with Tasty Survivor. We're thinking about nice tasty titles. We had We Love Sweets. This is a band who like to put food in their titles. The only other artist who I can think of who does that as much is Weird Al, actually. But I'm here for this new song. I don't really know anything about it except for the fact that I really loved the last song that we got, Tasty Survivor. And so, you know, I'm just kind of excited that we're going to get more of this. And the funny thing is approaching this, I know that I always approach Hanabiya songs from a slightly different angle from a lot of people, because whereas a lot of people, you know, come to Hanabiya because they adore the screaming and the intensity of it, I kind of enjoy that. But for me, my main drawing is just how unique their writing style is, Matsuri's approach, the mix and flood of sounds they put together, and it's just the way that they hit you with the intensity of all their ideas that I really love. Obviously, Yukina, we love Yukina, but I'm a bit of a Matsuri, hashtag no bias, I'm a bit of a Matsuri fan, I think. So anyway, I'm excited to check this out. I have no idea what to expect. We just got a blank screen in front of us. It's 3 minutes 54 worth of music. Shall we stop talking and start getting into this? I am just checking I've got all the volume set up properly. There we go. That's the little volume slider in place. The sound is on. All right, let's do this. So it's not Tasty Survivor, it's Spicy Queen. Loving the names of these songs. Let's go. Hanabiya. No idea what to expect. Ready for my mind to be blown. Wait, I need a sip of the coffee first. Ah, let's go. Reminds me a bit of Nova Twins off the beginning. Oh, you just know when it's going to drop in a Hanabiya song, don't you? Oh, I'm loving the visuals, by the way. That's really cool. That syncopation on the drums is awesome. Oh, I love that Matsuri's doing the chant. Yeah. So yeah, the chorus is definitely much more of a chant this time. Ooh, no snare. That little gap left by the lack of snare is really interesting. Wait for the snare to come in. Oh, I'm loving this back and forth between the chorus. I actually think the scream vocals Yukina's doing this are significantly more interesting than some of the stuff in earlier songs. I feel like she's got a much more playful style in this. It's making it much more fun. What the fuck? Ooh, that little chop of production there. I gotta be honest, this video. This video is working so well with the song. Go on. Go on, one last club. Go on. Go on. Yeah, why the fuck not? Yeah, double time, nice. That's a good crescendo. That's a good crescendo. I don't know what the fuck's going on there. Just suddenly the fucking universe. Oh, there you go. An explosion. All right, let's get these credits on screen. I think there's a lot of people who deserve credit in this. This was. Do you know what? I was talking about all the technical side, but what I love about any song, do you know? People always say, "Oh, how would you like the technical stuff? That's so dry and so boring." I like the technical stuff because when something is so technically, like, there's so many things going on and they click, that is the kind of fun that makes me giggle. That's the kind of stuff where you get something like this, it's absurd because of what it's throwing at you and it makes you giggle because they're using all these clever ideas to ostensibly just get to the point of making something really silly and over the top. And yeah, that's what they've done here. This is definitely a smile-making, giggle-inducing headbanger. And the funny thing is, you know what? I'm going to say that in the same way, I seem to remember that when I talked about both the song Gambler, which I really liked off of Butchergiri Tokyo, and then when we heard Tasty Survivor, the last single, both of those, I remember referencing the Nemophila song Progress, which I really liked off of their most recent album, Apple of My Eye. And the funny thing is that this song, in a way, again, another Nemophila song came to mind, which is really interesting because Nemophila and Hanabi, you don't expect these bands to have anything in common, but except for the flower references in the name, I guess. But Nemophila, I was thinking very much when I heard this of Nemophila's Brainwash, in that this had a similar quality. When I heard Brainwash, a lot of people, I think, were surprised I liked it because it was primarily scream vocals. It was just heavy, heavy, heavy. And I've explained to people before, I can enjoy scream vocals and heavy music, but it just kind of, it has to click. It can't just be noise for the sake of noise. And sometimes you can do something really intense and it just works. And this, similar feeling. This was primarily the scream stuff, but it worked because of how it did it. Now, there's a few factors that I mean, first of all, before we get into anything else, I just have to cover a few factors of why the vocal in this worked so well for me. Partly, I do think, and hey, if you're a big fan of scream vocals, tell me what you think, but I think that Yukina's vocal in this was just much more dynamic than we've heard it in previous songs. I remember previously one of the songs that I wasn't a big fan of, that maybe got a little bit of backlash. I wasn't such a big fan of Toso, and a lot of people love Toso. A lot of people were like, oh, it's the best song on that album. I wasn't massive into Toso because it just kind of felt like the scream stuff was constant and it didn't feel very dynamic. You know, it was just kind of like, okay, it's good, but it didn't... It just, something about it didn't quite click. You know, it didn't have the kind of range that this has, where you can hear her voice going between all these things. And again, a lot like Tasty Survivor, one of the reasons this works so well is because Yukina, she builds up to those screams. We get little moments where she's not screaming at all. And there was a bit like around about, I think it was coming up to the 2-minute mark, and her voice just built into it. Like just a bit of chanting rap. And then hear the intensity building. You hear that? So she's doing that kind of high-pitched screech bit, but it's very much kind of on the beat. So kind of following on from the rap she was doing, and then she does the sort of lower growl. And again, I am not a big fan usually of scream vocals, but if you do it like this, where it's punctuating the beat, you're using it in a musical way so that intensity doesn't just feel like some petulant blast, but it actually feels like you're really sort of taking hold of the beat and you're doing something with it and you're expressing something and you're working with the song. I love that. I'm not a big fan of, and this is not so much a problem with Hannah Beer, but with certain other artists where it's just kind of like just this roaring sound and it's like, it doesn't sound intense. But when you're actually taking the beat and you're doing something with it, that to me is so much more effective because those little noises, they're punctuating something, they're working with something. So for me, Yukina's voice was so much more effective in this. But then again, even when she did that little sort of pseudo rap bit, there was a couple of different tones she was using there. And then we go into the fact that Matsuri is delivering a little bit of the chant as well. But chanting is a very big part of this. This was not so much of a melody song. There was very little melody in this. This was mostly just like little chants, little sort of pseudo rap bits. Even the chorus was basically a chant. And the reason why that can kind of work is it's kind of like, and again, similar thing I said about Brainwash by Nemophila, is it's kind of got that thing where you can just imagine everyone just chanting along to it. You don't really have to think about the tune. You just chant along to the little rhythm bits. And that, ironically, is something that whenever I think of that, that reminds me of like Rage Against the Machine, because that was kind of Rage Against the Machine's thing. Rage Against the Machine did not have many melodies, but they were very good at delivering a chant, and it worked. In fact, a lot of songs in the new metal genre, they had a lot of songs where the chorus was little more than a chant. You can reference things like Limp Bizkit. I mean, that was the truth for a lot of their songs. It's true with and so for me, it's a thing that we don't often think about, but sometimes you can have a song where it's not quite rap, but it's doing something similar in that it's not a melody, it's just this rhythmic punch of vocal delivery. And that is where I think Yukina is doing such a great job here. And she's using different vocal tones and different rhythms, and then throwing in Matsuri's vocals as well. And you're just getting this wonderful, ever-changing top layer. It's not just, here is someone singing a song. It's like this constant changing tonality of the vocal, the front vocal that your ears are drawn to listening to. So I love that. But then underneath, as always, the top layer, the thing your ears are listening to, the central part of the song is constantly changing, but the background as well, so dynamic, shifting, playful. I love how the guitars come in with like little choppy bits. The rhythm is constantly changing. Some great rhythm changes on this. I love how it just sort of goes half time, double time. But again, apologies, I always forget the drummer's name. I'm so sorry. But like they did change, but the way that the rhythm constantly changes underneath is great because it always feels intuitive. Because again, there's this rhythmic thing throughout these songs where the rhythm of the drums is so linked in with the vocals, and it feels like a song that is all about rhythm. And I adore that. I love that. I think it's a really great quality that these songs have. I think it very much comes from Matsuri's sort of analytical style of songwriting, where she thinks about things in that kind of way. I think it allows you to create these kind of much more dynamic styles of songs. I think it's great as well because it's very different from a lot of songs we've heard from them recently. It's a little bit more raw, again, going in a different direction from things like Tasty Survivor that were a little bit more production heavy. So many qualities about this were just so refreshing and fun and exciting. But I have to get, this is probably like one of the best videos they've ever had, and a lot of it just comes down to, I mean, for a start, the choice of the cameras. It very much looks a little bit like a Turn of the Millennium style video, and that you got a lot of this fisheye and stuff like that, and like a simple enclosed set. But the color choice is brilliant. I got all the spicy food, but the color choice of having that sort of red and black, and then the white ceiling, and you kind of got that contrasted red, white, and black. It's kind of very aggressive colors, but also very high contrast colors, and that even plays in perfectly when we get the curry appear, and it's like a Japanese style curry again, matches that. You see, you got black in the background, you got the white rice and the plate, and then you got that kind of reddy browny kind of curry. Maybe I'm just colorblind. I love that. I think the whole color palette works. It's simple, it's impactful. That's a cool shot, and it just sort of like everything about this jumps off the screen, and it moves well. Do you know, I remember once a really interesting theory I heard when I was much younger, and we were talking about kind of like good directors. And I think it was a teacher I was talking to about this, like an art teacher. It's like, sometimes you can tell a really good director because you can just like take their film and you can pause it at any point and you feel like you're looking at a very deliberate picture. And I kind of feel like that's what this video looks like. There's no wasted frame. Every single frame looks like it's intentional, looks like it's a picture in its own right. And that to me is, that's a really cool little image just in its own. That to me is a really great sign that this is a video that just grabs you, and it's very visually deliberate, but it works with the song so well. Again, I said this recently, and I did a little YouTube short about this as well, where I was talking about what makes a really good music video. And, I think to basically quote myself, what I said was that a decent music video, just kind of like a satisfactory good music video, is one that just kind of like, it works with the song, it shows the song, shows you basically what you expect, and everything just kind of works. It doesn't go against the song, it's all right, moves and changes in a similar way, it's what you expect. A bad music video is one where the director's more interested in what they want to do than the song, and it just doesn't feel, it feels out of place, feels pretentious. And a really good music video is one where it understands the song, but it just adds little things that maybe you wouldn't have thought of, but then you go, yeah, that really works. And the color palette, the kind of playful nature of this, the whole way it's set up, it's probably one of their cheapest looking videos, and yet it is definitely one of their most impactful, which is one of their best looking videos. This is great. Definitely work with this director again. This director was excellent. So yeah, I just thought, I don't know, has this director done some of their previous videos? I do not know, but I thought this whole thing was a ton of fun, really good. And again, anything for me, I'm always super excited when any song gets me into something that I wouldn't usually be into. That for me is always exciting. Hanabia as a genre have taken me into a lot of the sort of more scream metal that I tend to not be such a big fan of. This one in particular, a lot like, again, I have a similar feeling about this as I had to Brainwash by Nemophila. It's not the sort of thing I would naturally gravitate towards. If you played me 2 seconds of it, I'd be like, that's probably not my thing. But then you sit down and listen to the whole thing, and it's just the way it works, the way it flows, the way it builds up, the way it changes. It stays dynamic, it stays interesting, it stays fresh. It's constantly bouncing ideas off of each other. It's keeping on moving, but it's never losing its train of thought. It's going all the way around. It's bringing you to a satisfying conclusion where you've got that final crescendo where everything blasts in, and all at a nice, neat sub 4 minutes with that big old sort of dragon breath thing at the end that even then is unexpected from the video, but plays out that final crescendo perfectly. This was just freaking fun, and I'm all for it. I love that Nemophila bring the fun in an intelligent but also very raw and aggressive way. Yeah, brilliant. Loved it. Anyway, get in the comments, tell me what you think. And this is like my favorite song by Hanabia. So I keep on saying Nemophila and Hanabia now. I'll be careful not to get the names mixed up. Is this my favorite song by Hanabia? Probably not. I like some of their other songs more, where they mix more different genres together. You know, songs where it goes through different styles more. So I would still say I prefer Tasty Survivor and Gambler. But this in a playlist, or just on its own as it's just one intense blast of energy, it's perfect. And you need variation in your portfolio of songs to be a really cool band. So credit to Hanabia. I absolutely love this. It's not my favorite song by them, but boy, oh boy, is it one that I am going to enjoy coming back to at the right time in the right place. Great stuff. Anyway, there you go. Like I say, get in the comments, tell me what you think, and until I hopefully see you very soon in Japan for the next one of these. For now, ciao, ciao.